said that. These niggas won't hold me back. 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 These niggas.
Looking at all those images, that's really serious shit you're looking at. Listening to Rick Ross, it just doesn't add up. These people you're looking at, like, you know, that are swimming out to your fucking boat to take dollar bills, like, they live a fucking different existence than you, buddy.
It's clear Rick Ross has no idea what's going on there. You know what I mean? He's just like around random people. The scenes aren't connected. There's no continuous.
I love the one scene where he's the only one wearing sneakers.
Right?
Where he's the only one wearing fresh sneakers walking down the street. I'm like, that's fucking... I was like, that's crazy. Like, you're walking in the streets where, like, if you know, you would never wear fresh sneakers. You know?
Y'all say there's a dimension of exploitation there based on...
Absolutely. That's all it is to me. You know what I mean? I've seen other videos where it does a little better. Like, there is some particular thing happening in Nigeria, let's say, that you're connecting to. Like, particular political movement or at one area of poverty where, you know, there's some issue, and then so that's what you're rallying around. He was literally just went on vacation to Nigeria.
For real, and then just took videos everywhere he went.
Let's defend Rick Ross a little bit. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And let's say that he's attempting to map the ghetto experience, that is the American ghetto experience, because there's a video that he did, I'm not sure if you're aware, there's a video that he did in like a New Orleans area, and then this is the second video. So this is like the remix of the first. So let's say for a second that maybe he's trying to map the ghetto experience that he knows in the U.S. onto a different black space. You know, how would you sort of address or evaluate that? Do you think is there any value in the way he's doing that, or would you agree that that's what he's trying to do? Or if it could be said that he as a ghetto dweller, as part of the global ghetto, a subject of the global ghetto, right, is attempting to speak on ghettos anywhere and everywhere through some solidarity. Is it coming across in this video, or would you sort of like dismiss what I'm saying altogether?
I noticed exactly what you noticed in terms of the contradiction, seemingly. The contradiction between what were explicitly political images. Explicitly political images. In terms of the poverty that's being shown, what's obvious there is that this is, as you said, a different form of existence. It's a third world poverty, which is very different from the kind of poverty that we see in the first world, which is another topic of conversation. Right. I don't think that there is a lack of a political message in Rick Ross's music. I think that one is hard pressed to avoid making a political statement whenever one brings in things like ghetto. For real. So therefore, the question becomes of what quality is that political statement? Because every political statement isn't necessarily a quality statement. We can all be speaking politically, but it's a matter of what are you saying.
Bitch nigga, let's play chess. Yo, bitch next, no latex. These niggas won't hold me back. Told the feds they sold me set. Whipping white and then come right back.
In terms of linking his perhaps perspective or analysis of what's going on in, say, New Orleans and what's going on in Nigeria, I think there is a consistency that we find not only in Rick Ross, but in the majority, I would say, of mainstream rappers who are attempting to offer some sort of political analysis on ghetto life. And I surmise that he's saying this: money is the end all. Right. Now, if we know anything about politics, you understand that capitalism is equally as much a source of deprivation and degradation and oppression as much as it is potentially a way out of these things. And oftentimes, what it takes for one subset to get out of these things using capital implies that another subset is going to be forever trapped in. I mean, this is precisely what the dope game is. Right. The dope game is that me and mine will somehow manage to elevate, but only on the condition that others will. So an analogy that I used to use years ago when I was teaching down at Florida State University, the analogy that I would use is, it's as if we're all in a 6-foot grave already, and these elites throw us a ladder or a rope, but they also throw us shovels. And the trade-off is that certain ones of you can use the ladder and the rope, but the price first, though, is that you must dig the hole, a certain amount of feet deeper.
I guess what burns me about Rick Ross burned me about Beanie Sigel when he came out. And that was like, I think the first time I really started to take a very critical look at hip hop. Because it's like, Beanie just raps about selling coke. And I don't sell coke. So, you know what I mean? Like, and I've been poor. So it's like, there's something there's something wrong with how like repetitive that message is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I look at Rick Ross, when I look at the Rick Ross video, I feel like he's selling crack.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now the context.
And what is that crack? Because clearly he is not selling crack.
Yeah.
He is selling crack. But what is that?
Yeah.
What is that crack? And I think you got something.
Yeah. So that was the last part. I think what you're suggesting is that one prioritizes capital gain at the expense of whatever negative outcomes will come, right? And so crack just becomes an analogy for that. And so I think that's precisely what's going on. So to the extent to just kind of wrap up everything I was saying earlier, to look at what political message is being stated, I think it's an unadulterated, unapologetic promotion and endorsement of capitalism. Now, for that to come from a black population who has literally been the object of capitalism for so many years is completely self-destructive, and it shows a certain lack of awareness about in terms of how one got into the poverty that one is now seeking to sort of battle against.
90% of records that make it out to the mainstream talk about a certain thing that's a destructive vibe and energy that's coursing across the world. So when Akon made it, I'm like, you know, I'm happy an African is making mad money, but your song is sexy bitch. You don't know how to call this woman any other name but a sexy bitch, really? Like that puts us, you know, as the leading African musician, that puts us in a very ignorant like light. You know what I mean? Since this nigga is making millions of dollars, look at what happened to Akon's style of music and the whole of Africa over the past like 9 years. Then you have all these fucking like pop and champagne copycats, like you know what I mean? And you have that is 90% of the pop music in Nigeria.
For a lot of reasons, especially amongst in hip hop and the culture that we're identified, each individual artist is just narrowing their own expression to just one thing that's hurtful. And why is that? Why is it that you're a lot of things? Like Rick Ross, you probably go home, you kick it with your kids, like you do a lot of things that don't have to do with the only thing that you ever talk about.
Give me pussy hoe, pussy hoe, pussy hoe, pussy hoe. She a pussy hoe. These niggas won't hold me back.
And why is it so important, or you are so afraid of doing anything else that you just focus on this one thing that is clearly hurtful? Like, is it that, like, how do we fight? Isn't that what we're basically like? How do we expand it? Like, I don't care if we talk about that sometimes, but why is that all you're talking about?
And just imagine the response that you might get if you challenge them on it. Imagine him going to the art. If this is my art, it's my expression. It's what I want to say, and you can't tell me what it is that I should say. So then you go to, well, it has these social effects, these political effects. It's just art. It's just my perspective. When we then say that he is being negligent of a responsibility that he has?
Not just him. I would say not just him. The system behind him is also being negligent, and that's what we need to make this about. Because it's not ultimately, it's not just it's not just about these individual artists. It's about the system that provides the platform. No,
yes, because what you're basically saying is you want to hold corporations accountable for distributing particular kinds of music.
I think Sebastian's letter is less about censorship ultimately, and it's more about advocating for balance. He's saying this is what it is, and this is what it can be, and perhaps he's onto something. Maybe that is where he's
onto everything.
He's onto everything.
If you're not going to change your artistic and your political sensibilities, then you can at least take the capital that you're getting off of that and to try to do some things to counter the damage that you are, in effect, making and producing with your art.
Ricky, you got to get it right, man. You got to get that game together. Just because Wale is your boy, he's from Nigeria, don't mean you can just run up in there and just shoot any old thing, throw some money behind it, and it's going to automatically make some kind of sense or something because you're supposed to be this Don Gaga and, whatever image that, you got to... I honestly think you need to really take another look at some of those images you put out there and ask a few deeper questions, man. Maybe go to some of Wale's family and talk to them and get a little bit more background about what you're trying to depict. Because I know you're trying to depict something. I can feel that. But I don't know if the correct message is getting across.
The label perspective, Universal Music Group, I think you should just think a little bit about what you're pushing. I know you don't necessarily want to control what some of your artists like Rick Ross are doing because, obviously they've gone where they gotten by doing things that you like for making money. But think a little bit harder about expanding that box specifically in hip hop and things like that, so that you can get different messages across, because it does affect large populations of people who don't know better, like many of you probably do, and it's that serious.